The purpose of my question here is that what impact have you or has your company experienced thus far, and what are you going to do about regaining the confidence from the consumers when it comes to autonomous car? Can we start from Gabrielle? Yeah.
Sure. Probably in this role, I will be the last one to address the issue, but since I sit in the first place, so I will address my opinion. So as you mentioned, Junko, this event is still under investigation, but there's a certain potential that we overheard is due to the, overlooking the algorithm and also computing power or computing time of the system. Okay. So that contributes, for example, to several points. One is the safety level of the car. As we understand, the car at that moment is still testing vehicle, right? So it's not validated to legally, really commercially running on the road. So I think this is critical that, as you mentioned, we need to look back, reflect on all the standards and also safety requirements. So as we, in the past years, we are trying to validate with the functional safety standard like ISO 26262. We need to reflect on that, on each component architectures and the design, software, and all the specs, right? So I think that's critical for the industry to really sincerely look at that points.
Okay, as a company, safety is always our first priorities. So even if there's incidents happening, but we will not stop developing these autonomous vehicles. So, but we will look into more safety angles or take more into the consideration how to improve this situation. So this will not stop bringing or developing the autonomous vehicle for us. Yeah.
I think from an NVIDIA standpoint, this is a tragic event. I agree with that. Everyone agrees with that one. The thing about this Uber incident was that it's, like mentioned before, it's a test vehicle. They're still trying to fine-tune this thing. It is not in production yet. So when we talk about trust and whatnot, I think a large part of this is the development towards being able to provide more safety on the streets, right? I don't think people should stop development. However, we should stop and learn from this incident. Just, even though it wasn't, say, us or Audi or anyone on the panel, but it's one of those things where, okay, we should stop for good engineering practices, basically, and look at the situation, learn from what we can learn, and hopefully it will never happen again, right? That's the whole point. Like, to us, that's probably the number one thing for autonomous driving, right? We want to provide more safety on the streets.
Can I just follow up that did NVIDIA stop testing in Arizona? Is that correct? You had like 2 vehicles?
What we announced was we suspended on-road testing to learn from the situation. Yeah, it's not really a reflection on where we involved and whatnot. Just to be totally clear, we basically weren't, but we feel it's good engineering practice to, we're not stopping testing, we're not stopping simulation or anything like that, or development for that matter. We're still working on that, but at the same time, we feel, okay, wait, what happened here? Let's, like you said, the investigation is still ongoing, and we want to learn from this situation so that we can, hopefully all companies can avoid the situation in the future. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
So from our side, this is obviously a wake-up call, but we continue to do what we've been doing all the while, supporting our tier 1s and OEMs. As I mentioned before to somebody, we spend about 70% our resources on validation and testing, even before we put the product sell our products to the market. So for example, the validation testing, the ovens, the test chambers, the equipment for testing, our radar and LiDAR sensors, the investment value is very, very high, more than even the R&D development costs, which no small startup can do. So we continue doing this. But of course, from this incident, we want to learn
what happened. It'll be interesting to find out what really happened. Is it a software issue? Is it a hardware issue? Is it a sensor issue? And then we will take it back into our development and have a look and see how we can improve further.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that the safety is the more important issue, especially for the drivers. So that's why IBM help our client, especially the car makers like the Audi or BMW. We use the AI technology embedded into the car. So we let drivers can drive their cars more safety, and they can control their other device at the same time inside the car. So in the future, maybe the drivers can use the natural language through the voice recognition to control their car more safety. Okay, thank you.
We have seen this film, yes, Audi. We have Audi 7, Audi A4, a lot of Audi. But did you know how many recall and how many accidents we have did? Because in my 31 years in Audi, in technical development, how many accidents we have? It belongs to, and this is just one accident. Because it's Uber and it's one accident. But how many accidents we have? I think nobody. Did you have good explained?
Are you talking about how many accidents actually happen every year in the world?
Yes.
I think about one of us.
Percentage.
How much?
And this percentage, and we see this fact. The Audi we have shown so successful A7, A9, A3 this autonomous. But I know in our testing department, we have some engineer, they are dead too. And they belong to, so you pay Audi so it's expensive car, but we have Audi, we have paid too. Our engineering, we pour his life.
Right. All right. Thank you.